All right. 13.5 four-wheel drive is up. Let me get... We're doing qualifiers.
Dan Jefferson.
Don't worry. So if you are in... Basically, if you're not in this race, you are out to the track to Marshall, because we got a lot of doubles. A lot of people running both classes, so... little thin, if you hadn't noticed. There's like 5 people here, so... Yeah, let's go ahead and get checked in. Marshall's out to the track. Again, if you are not in this race, you're out marshalling. Except for Terry, who is disabled this evening. But he already talked to me about it and let me know, so I am not judging him about it. Only silently to myself.
Willie Madden.
We have a new driver out in the Marshall field this evening. It is Josh, but he is clean-shaven, so we're all going to have to get used to that. I might be a little bit sarcastic RDing tonight, but that is because I'm bored.
Ryan Johnson.
All right, if I could get a Marshall up by me, a Marshall at the other end of the driver's stand, then we can get started. So again, 2 more Marshalls out to the drivers, or out to the track, please. Vince, are you gonna make this one? Okay, maybe we don't have enough people. All right, well, I will start the race and then I'll come Marshall this corner here. Order is gonna go Dan, Todd, Willie, Darren, Vince, Earl, Ryan, and Emily. Yeah, I'm going to wait for Graydon to get back, and then I will jump down and get this corner here. Graydon, can we get you at the end of the straightaway, please? I can do that. Let me reset the thing real quick. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think that people would be running the same class. I don't know why my thought process was that, but it was. Okay, there we go. So this one's going to be Ryan, Dan, Willie, and Earl. Ryan, Dan, Willie, and Earl. All right. Go ahead and get checked in again. Need everyone across the line.
Dan Jefferson. Ryan Johnson. Earl Newton.
All right, go ahead and get lined
Madden.
up on the straight. Order's going to go Ryan, Dan, Willie, and Earl. Again, Ryan, Dan, Willie, and Earl. All right, driver's ready. Marshall's ready. Ryan on the tone. Here we go. Dan. Willie. Earl. So I set it up so we're going to do 4-minute quals, 5-minute mains, single qual, double mains.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Earl Newton.
Single. Single qual Wednesdays, double qual Fridays. I mean, if you want, we could probably do double quals, but...
After 1 minute left, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Willie Madden.
All right, so we got Dan on the 1, Ryan on the 2, Earl on the 3, Willie in the 4. Earl probably wishing he got the other Team Powers 13.5 for this car, not just the stock car. There's still time for that. I can ring you up after the race. 2:38 on the clock. Gap between 1 and 2 is 0.4 seconds. Between 3 and 4, 6.7 seconds. Between 3 and 4,
After 1 minute
1.7
31
seconds.
The top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Earl Newton.
I don't know. It should be. I mean, it should be. I don't know if it... It is. I don't know what the format is, but regardless, I'll set up another race. It should be a B of wheel, obviously. Yeah, I will...
2 minutes left. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Earl Newton.
Since there's not a lot of people, it's not complicated. Yeah. All right, 1:45 on the clock. Everyone's spaced out by a couple seconds here. No battles really to watch on the track. We got 1:35 on the clock.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Earl Newton. One minute left. After 3 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Earl Newton, and Willie Madden.
50 seconds on the clock.
45 seconds left. "30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Earl Newton, and Willie Madden. "15 seconds left.
10 seconds on the clock.
Earl Newton done.
Just wait on Dan and Willie across the line. All right, that's race. Drop your cars off, get right back out to Marshall.
Done.
Heat 2 is up.
The race is completed.
What happened, Ryan? Oh. Do you need to borrow a battery? Okay.
Emily Weldon, Darren Smith, Vince Lim,
what?
Todd Murray.
All right, I got checks on everyone. Order's going to go Darren, Todd, Emily, and Vince. Again, Darren, Todd, Emily, and Vince. I don't think we're running a Marshall at the end of the straight, so we should be fine. Graydon, I'm going to recruit you, though, to go over to the Associated banner. I know. You can do it, though. I believe in you. We're not in a rush. You'll have plenty of time to get over from marshalling. All right. Again, it's going to go Darren, Todd, Emily, and Vince. Drivers ready, marshals ready. Darren on the tone. Todd, Emily, Vince. Todd with a solid wheelie onto the sweeper section. So after the first 30 seconds, we got Vince out in the 1, Darren in the 2, Todd in 3, Emily in the 4.
And Todd Murray.
Gap between 1 and 2.6 seconds, between 2 and 3.5 seconds, between 3 and 4, 2.1 seconds. 3:20 on the clock. Current pace 18.408 out of Lamaco. 18.413 out of Smith. Murray 17.409. Weldon 16.415. It's good to have Emily back.
After 1 minute left, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Darren Smith, and Todd Murray.
.240 on the clock.
After 1 minute 31 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim,
225.
Darren Smith, and Todd Murray.
.215. Vince still leading us around 1.4 seconds is the gap between 1 and 2. Dan sitting 1 overall. Vince in the 2. Darren 3. Earl, Todd, Emily, Willie, and Ryan
2
is your
minutes
current
left.
standing.
After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Darren Smith, and Todd Murray. After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers
125
are
now
Darren
on the
Smith,
clock. A
Vince
little bit of
Lim,
an
and
upset
Emily
there.
Weldon.
Darren goes up to the 1. Vince in the 2. Todd in the 3. Emily in the 4. Todd and Emily, the closest battle on the track. Todd's got to tighten it up just a little bit here.
1 minute
if he
left.
wants to secure
After
that
3
spot.
minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Darren Smith, Vince Lim, and Todd Murray.
50 seconds on the clock.
45 seconds left. .30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Darren Smith, Vince Lim, and Todd Murray.
20 seconds.
15 seconds left.
5 seconds. Chris, you want me to throw you in stock?
Todd Murray done. Vince Lim done.
Okay,
Emily Weldon done.
gotcha.
All drivers are
All right,
finished.
that's a race.
Darren
Drop
Smith
your cars
done.
off, get right back out
The
to
race is
Marshall.
completed.
If there's any overlap, I will request that other people... no, you're not. But we are going to need a couple volunteers for this next one. Darren, you are in this one. Earl? No, you are not in this one. You'll be okay, Earl. I believe in you. I know you're excited to go faster than everyone else in your
Graydon
practically
Edwards.
mod car you got there. Josh, you are not in this one. I did resort. I changed it to double. I split 4-wheel into 2 heats, so that resorted everything.
Matt Rigsby.
Ryan, you are in this one. And you charge your battery? All
Darren
right.
Smith.
Dang, Chris, I can see that body all the way from here. It's vibrant. And you use Lexan paint this time?
Dan Jefferson.
All right.
Emily Weldon.
Todd will put it to the test for you later. All right, I need a marshal. Caution getting on the straight. Caution getting on the straight. Right in the sweeper after the roller, on the track, by the tape and the pipes with the carpet.
Ryan Johnson.
All right, if I could get 2 more marshals out to the track, please. 2 more marshals. If I get someone at the start of the straightaway and someone at the end of the straightaway / AE banner. Again, 2 more marshals. What's up? Okay. I got you. All right, order's going to go Ryan, Graydon, Dan, Matt, Darren, and Emily. Again, just waiting on marshals real quick, and then we can get started. What's up? I think so. I'm going to see. Yeah, the associated banner. Dan, Ryan, be nice. All right, Ryan, on the tone. Here we go. Graydon. Dan. Matt. Darren. Emily. Caution, Karen. Caution at Karen. Yeah, right there.
After 30 seconds,
3:30 on the
the
clock.
top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Graydon Edwards, and Ryan Johnson.
All right, Dan lead us around. Ryan in the 2, Darren in 3, Graydon in the 4, Emily in the 5, Matt in the 6. 3:05 on the clock.
After 3 minutes left, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Ryan Johnson, and Darren Smith.
2:55. Gap between 1 and 2, 3.3 seconds between 2 and 3. We got 0.8 seconds between 3 and 4, 0.3 seconds. Caution at Karen, caution at Karen. Clear.
After 1 minute 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Graydon Edwards, and Ryan Johnson. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Graydon Edwards, and Ryan Johnson.
.140 on the clock. Dan leads us around. Graydon in the 2, Ryan in 3, Darren in the 4, Emily in the 5, Matt in the 6.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Graydon Edwards, and Ryan Johnson.
Tighter to the pipe and slower on the throttle is going to be faster on this layout. Caution to Karen, caution to Karen, caution to Karen.
One minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second.
Caution sweeper, stay inside, stay
Graydon
inside, stay
Edwards,
inside.
And Dan Jefferson.
Marshall. Right in the middle, right in the middle, right in the middle.
45 seconds left.
Josh getting his workout in today. 35 seconds on the clock.
30 seconds left. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Darren Smith, Dan Jefferson, and Graydon Edwards.
20 seconds on the clock. Quite a bit of an upset in this race. Looks like things have sorted themselves out with 15 seconds on the clock.
15 seconds left. Ryan Johnson done. Graydon Edwards done. Dan Jefferson done.
All right. Keep going until she calls you done.
Darren Smith done. Matt Rigsby done. All drivers are finished. Emily Weldon done. The race is completed.
All right, two-wheel drive stock buggy heat 2 is up. Looking for Terry, Todd, Earl, Vince, Josh, and Travis.
Travis Witkowski. Terry Brown. Earl Newton. Josh Cody. Vince Lim.
Yo. Sure. I need Todd and Chris across the line, and then we can get started.
Todd Murray.
All right, Chris across the line.
Chris Morrison.
All right, order's going to go Terry, Todd, Earl, Vince, Josh, Travis, and Chris. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. Terry on the tone, less than 5. Todd, Earl, Vince, Josh, Travis, Chris.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Travis Witkowski, and Vince Lim.
Caution, Karen, right in the middle, 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 clear. 3:10 on the clock. Travis out in the 1, Earl in the 2, Vince in the 3, Todd in the 4, Josh in the 5, Terry in the 6, Chris in the 7.
After 1 minute, 3 minutes left, the top drivers are Travis Witkowski, Earl Newton, and Vince Lim.
I was wondering what was going on out there.
I forgot they're brand new, and I didn't re-glue. I haven't even glued the sidewalls. It's fine. I'll just run that.
All right. 2:30 on the clock. We have Earl out in the 1, Travis in the 2, Josh in the 3, Vince in the 4, Terry in the 5,
the
Todd
top
in the
drivers
6.
are Earl Newton, Travis Witkowski, and Josh Cody.
.220 on the clock. Josh and Travis making a lot of progress there.
2 minutes left. After 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers
Caution
are
and Karen,
Earl
caution
Newton,
and Karen, right in the middle, right in the middle, right in the middle, right in the middle, clear. Todd, you're going to have your leader coming up on you. Please let him by when he comes up on you. Thank you. Terry making some waves up here, moving up to the 3 spot now. 1:30 on the clock.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Travis Witkowski, and Terry Brown.
Caution after the jump, caution after the jump, caution after the jump. Right in the middle, right in the middle, right in the middle, right in the middle. Clear. $1:10 now on the clock. Caution to Karen, caution at Karen. Stay inside, clear. 1 minute now on the clock.
1 minute left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Travis Witkowski, and Terry Brown.
55 seconds.
$45 seconds left.
$35 on the clock.
30 seconds After left. 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Travis Witkowski, and Terry Brown.
20 seconds.
$15 seconds left.
Terry, you're going to have second place coming up on you. Please let him by.
Earl Newton done. Vince Lim done. Todd Murray done. Terry Brown done. Travis Witkowski done. All drivers are finished. Josh Cody
That's
done.
a race. How much time do you guys need? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half hour? 5? 5 minutes? All right. We'll get started here at 7:06. You took 1. For qualifying. Yo. Mm-hmm.
Ryan Johnson, Todd Murray, Willie Madden, Willie Madden, Ryan Johnson, Todd Murray, Todd Murray, Ryan Johnson, Emily Weldon, Todd Murray, Willie Madden, Ryan Johnson, Emily Weldon.
All right, I got checks on everyone. Order's going to go Todd, Emily, Willie, and Ryan. Sorry for the delay there. I was setting up. For some reason, I didn't give you guys a B main, or a second B main, so I was adding that. Need one more marshal if I get one more marshal. Anyone. Volunteer marshal, please. Again, order is Todd, Emily, Willie, and Ryan. Again, Todd, Emily, Willie, and Ryan. All right. Driver's ready. Marshal's ready. On the tone. Less than 5. All right, Todd out in the 1. Looks like Ryan in the 2, Willie in the 3, Emily in the 4. Reminder, these are 5-minute mains tonight, so a little bit longer than qualifying. Gotta hold it together for that much longer. Caution on the sweeper, caution on the sweeper, caution on the sweeper.
Willie Madden.
All clear, all clear. Ryan with a lucky break, he's gonna start to pull away.
After 1 minute left, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Willie Madden, and Emily Weldon.
So 4 minutes now on the clock. Ryan leading us around, Willie up in the 2, Todd in 3, Emily in the 4. Looks like Todd rolls it over, so that's going to put Emily up in that 3 spot now. We still got 3:35 on the clock. Gap between 1 and 2, 8.1 seconds. Between 2 and 3, 1.4 seconds. Between 3
After
and 4,
1 minute
1.7
31
seconds.
The top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Willie Madden,
Ryan
and
front
Emily
stoppy
Weldon.
through the Karen section. Ryan starting to lap the grid here.
Three minutes after left. 2 minutes 1 second. The top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Willie Madden, and Emily
Todd
Weldon.
with a creative line there through Karen. That was definitely a choice there. Didn't affect his overall standing or lap time, so I'm going to leave it be. But 2:35 on the clock. Willie being very
After 2
courteous
minutes,
in getting out of
31
Ryan's
seconds,
way there.
The top drivers
nice of
are Ryan
him.
Johnson, Emily Weldon, and Willie Madden.
Only reason I'm not giving call-outs for Ryan's position, because I don't feel like it. I think we need to bring back 4 mod. That is really fun. I can see the fear in Darren's eyes when I said that, though, because he does not seem like he wants to run that with me. 2 minutes on the clock.
Left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the
Chris,
top drivers are
you'd run
Ryan
4 mod
Johnson,
with me.
Emily Weldon, and Willie Madden.
No, but you can race with me. I'll let you do all the maintenance. How about that? 4 mod is so fun to drive, but gosh, is it not fun to work on. All right, 1:30 on the clock. Ryan leads around. Emily in 2, William
After
3,
3
Todd in
minutes
4.
32 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Emily Weldon, and Willie Madden.
Emily, go, go, go. So Emily moving up to that 2 spot. Willie in the 3, Todd in the 4.
One minute left. After 4 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Emily Weldon, and Willie Madden.
Caution after the center jump. Caution after the center jump. Clear. Caution there. Caution, caution,
45
caution.
seconds left.
Neither of them want to make it through that section. Caution to Karen, caution to Karen. Willie, did you glue your sidewalls?
30 seconds left. After 4 minutes 32
All
seconds,
right,
the top
25
drivers
seconds
are
on the
Ryan
clock.
Johnson, Emily Weldon, and Willie Madden.
Ryan out on a 22.505. Ryan, I may just have you run with the A sort next round.
15 seconds left.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Ryan, you can just jump in direct, right? Yeah. Just keep running on that same battery. Should last you.
Todd Murray done. Ryan Johnson done. Emily Weldon done. All drivers are finished. Willie Madden done. The race is completed.
(13.5) four-wheel drive A1. Dan, Darren, Vince, and Earl. So Earl, I take it you like that Team Powers motor? It seemed to work pretty well for you there. You TQ'd, so yeah. You only got 2 more rounds to maintain that for. It's easy, light work.
Darren Smith.
All right, let's get Marshall out of the track, please.
Earl Newton. Dan Jefferson. Vince Lim.
Again, if you were in that last race, please come out to Marshall. Todd. You got a Marshall. All right, got checks on everyone. Order is going to go Dan, Darren, Vince, and Earl. I need you at the other end of the driver's stand. Earl, can you change positions while you're driving? That's the question. I've tried it a couple times, and it didn't go super well. Other end of the driver's stand. Thank you. All right, driver's ready. Marshall's ready. On the tone. Darren and Earl playing follow the leader through that section.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, and Darren Smith.
All right, 4 minutes on the clock. Dan Sillius round, Vince in the 2, Earl in 3,
After
Darren in
1
4.
minute, minutes left. The top drivers are
Everyone's
Dan
spaced
Jefferson,
out by about
Vince
2
Lim, and
seconds
Earl
right
Newton.
now. So give it a little bit for people to either catch back up or separate out. 3:50 on the clock. Current pace 23.513 out of Jeppesen.
After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, and Earl Newton. After left. 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, and Earl Newton. After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, and Earl Newton.
All right, 2:20 on the clock.
Two minutes left. After 3 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, and Earl Newton.
$140 on the clock. Caution sweeper, caution sweeper.
After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince
125
Lim,
on the clock.
and Earl Newton. One minute left. After 4 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, and Earl Newton. "45 seconds left. "30 seconds left. After 4 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Dan
25
Jefferson,
seconds.
Vince Lim, and Earl Newton. "15 seconds left. Darren Smith done. Dan Jefferson done. Vince Lim done. All drivers are finished. Earl
All
Newton
right,
done.
that's a race. Drop your cars
race
off,
is
get right back
completed.
out to Marshall. Got Stock Buggy B-Main is up. If you're not in this race, I will need you to volunteer to Marshall. We're looking for Ryan, Josh, Emily, Todd, Matt, and Chris. Chris is looking like he's going to throw down some hot laps with his freshly glued tires. That's like a 12-second car right there. Saving all that weight by not putting stickers on it. So that'll save you like 3/10. What's up?
I'm gonna get Will Speed Springs, you know those? I'm gonna get
Matt Rigsby.
and they're coming
it's in the box in the back.
Chris Morrison,
The box full of Will Speed springs.
Josh Cody,
They're not mine though. They're for Kevin. Yeah.
I bet he has like red, orange, blue.
He got all of them. Yeah.
All of them?
I don't know. I didn't go through his box, but
Yeah.
no, I'm not allowed to steal his stuff, unfortunately.
Ryan Johnson,
Granted, I like my car more than I like Kevin's car. I have. All right. Mine? You can drive mine sometime. I think you'd like it. It's a very easy car to drive. All right, Emily and Todd across
Emily
the
Weldon.
line. Oh no, Todd found the stools back there. I think we should make people bring their own stool to the track if they need to use one. Todd, across the line, please.
Todd Murray,
You can always wear heels. That's what I would do. All right, order's gonna go Ryan, Josh, Emily, Todd, Matt, and Chris. All right, driver's ready, Marshall's ready. You don't win in the first corner. Except for Chris, he's gonna win in the first corner. I can already tell. You can see it in his eyes. On the tone. Chris goes up 3 positions in the first corner. What did I tell you? And I spoke too soon. All right, after the first 30 seconds, we have Ryan on the 1, Josh in the 2, Chris in the 3, Matt in the 4, Emily in the 5, Todd in the 6.
after 30 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Josh Cody, and Chris Morrison.
Matt and Emily wheeling on to the straightaway. Caution after that center jump there. Chris going up in that 2 spot already.
After 1 minute left, the top
All right,
drivers are
after
Ryan
the first
Johnson,
minute, Ryan
Chris
on the 1,
Morrison,
Chris in
and
the
Josh
2.
Cody.
Josh in 3, Emily in the 4, Matt in the 5, Todd in the 6. Josh all over the back of Chris. Chris keeping it clean. Josh going a little wide there. Needs to tighten it up just a bit. Caution after Chad. Caution after Chad. Clear.
After 1
Chris
minute
going a
30
little
seconds,
wide there. That's going to give
the
Josh
top
an
drivers
opportunity to
are
catch
Ryan
back
Johnson,
up.
Chris
That is
Morrison,
the battle
and
to
Josh
watch on the
Cody.
track right now. Everyone else fairly spaced out. Ryan coming up to start lapping the grid. Todd, you will have the leader up on you here in a sec. Please let him by when he comes up on you. Matt, you will have second place. Josh goes through inside, outside, onto the straightaway. Josh goes through down the
3 minutes
straightaway.
left. The top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Chris Morrison,
That is
and
some
Josh
good
Cody.
racing right there. A little bit of rubbing, but no one gets taken out. That's what I like to see. Josh is a great person to race with. He will push you, but he won't push you to the point where you throw your car into the wall. Unless it's short course, then he might. But Buggy, Josh is a good guy to race with. Still early, though. We got 2 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock. Chris had the pace earlier. Doesn't look like he's lost any of that.
After 2 minutes 30 seconds,
He's
the
just got to
top
maintain
drivers
what
are
he's
Ryan
doing and wait for a
Johnson,
mistake.
Josh Cody,
There we
and
go.
Chris
Josh
Morrison.
taps out. That's going to put Chris back up into the 2 spot. Josh still has time, though. Again, this is still very much anybody's race. A battle for the 2nd spot. Josh is not far off at all. Everyone else fairly spaced out, a couple seconds between each position. The battle for the 2 is the one to watch right now. 2 minutes now on the
after
clock.
3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers
one
are
really
Ryan
gaining a
Johnson,
lead
Chris
at the
Morrison,
moment.
and Josh Cody.
Josh, lucky break through that center section. Chris taps the wall getting on the straight. That's going to give him a little bit of an opportunity for Josh to close that gap. Looks like he closes by a couple tenths there. He's still got a minute 40 on the clock, though. This is not over yet. Josh appears to be closing that gap. Todd, you're going to have
After
second
3
place coming
minutes,
up on you. Please
31
let him by when he
seconds,
comes through.
The top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Chris Morrison, and Josh Cody.
Caution at Karen, caution at Karen. Todd, you're going to need to go wide, let these guys by. And Josh, too. Thank you. There we go. Nicely done. That's not going to disrupt them. Josh, though, has closed the gap with a minute on the clock. This has been the best race tonight.
1 minute left. After 4 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are
55
Ryan Johnson,
seconds.
Chris Morrison, and Josh Cody.
Josh reeling him in. Chris keeping it nice and tight, though. Nerves of steel for the
45
last
seconds
minute here.
left.
Taps the pipe. Through goes Josh. 40 seconds on the clock. It's not over yet. They're going to be racing the last 30 seconds. They'll probably get about 2 more laps here.
30 seconds left. After 4 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Josh Cody, and Chris Morrison.
Josh taps the wall. That's going to give Chris a bit of an opportunity down that straightaway. Make up some time here. 15 seconds on the clock. They'll get this and
15
maybe one
seconds
more. Not
left.
sure. Caution at Karen. Caution at Karen. Simile, you'll have third place coming up on you.
Ryan Johnson done. Todd Murray done. Josh
Heck
Cody
of a
done.
race, guys.
Chris Morrison done. Emily Weldon
That's
done.
a race.
All drivers are finished.
Drop your cars off.
Matt Rigsby done.
Right back out to Marshall.
The race is completed.
Nicely done. That was fun to watch. Watching that makes me wish I almost spent all day instead of looking at my car working on it.
Graydon Edwards.
Earl
Travis
looking like he's got
Witkowski.
something to prove this
Earl
time
Newton.
around. The numbers are correct. Earl's got the fastest car on the grid this evening. Nicely done, dude. That was a good race. That was fun.
Darren
Nerves
Smith.
of steel, though, dude.
Terry Brown.
You didn't really tap out, though, which is good. You stuck with it all the way through.
Dan Jefferson.
Yeah.
Vince
All
Lynn.
right, just need Vince to check in here. Willie, can I get you to jump in? Chris had some stuff today, so he can't marshal. They stole his bones, in other words, for science or something. He's basically Bill Nye the Science Guy back there. All right, Willie, if I could get you up by me. He just wanted the extra cardio going all the way around. Order is going to go Earl, Travis, Graydon, Dan, Darren, Terry, and Vince. Again, Earl, Travis, Graydon, Dan, Darren, Terry, and Vince. Vince looking for that hole shot all the way down the center. Driver's ready. Marshall's ready. On the tone. Less than 5. All right, after the first 30 seconds, we got
the top
Earl on the 1,
drivers are
Travis
Earl
2,
Newton,
Graydon 3,
Travis
Dan in the 4, Terry in the 5,
and
Darren in the
Graydon
6, Vince
Edwards.
in the 7. Doesn't look like there's been any position change so far.
After 1 minute, 4 minutes left. The top drivers are
So
Earl
Graydon
Newton,
working his way up to the
Edwards,
2 spot.
and
Travis the 3,
Witt
Dan in the
Kayski.
4, Terry in the 5, Darren in the 6, Vince in the 7. We're a minute in now. Bit of an upset from usual results here. We got Team
After
Powers
1 minute,
1
30
and
seconds,
2.
The top drivers
the
are Earl
grid.
Newton, Graydon Edwards, and Travis Witt Kayski.
Graydon just supervising Earl all the way through the sections, front section here. 3:15 on the clock. Dan looking inside, Dan looking outside, trying to find a way around Travis. Travis closing that door though. Curse of the RD down the sweeper section.
3 minutes After left. 2 minutes 1 second. The top
Heck of a
drivers
fight
are Earl
though for the
Newton,
first 2
Graydon
minutes
Edwards,
here.
and Travis Witt Kayski.
Looks like everyone's settling in a little bit. Dan looking for that 2 spot next. That's going to put a little pressure on Graydon. Going to give Earl a little bit of relief, but he does not have any room to make a mistake right now. 1, 2, and 3 down the straightaway. Earl's got something to prove today. He is not giving up any ground. Dan goes through up to the 2 spot.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Graydon Edwards, and
We
Dan
are at
Jefferson.
2:35 on the clock. Earl just got to keep that door closed. He doesn't quite have the pace, but he... And Curse of the RD down the sweeper section again. So that's going to put Dan up in the 1, Earl in the 2, Graydon in the 3, Terry in the 4, Travis in the 5, Darren in the
2
6,
minutes
Vince
left.
in the 7.
After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Dan
Travis
Jefferson,
looking all
and
over the
Graydon
inside
Edwards.
of Terry. Terry goes a little wide there. He's got to tighten up that line. Travis definitely has the pace here. Looking inside, looking outside. Caution at Chad, caution at Chad. Right in the middle there, right in the middle, clear. Darren goes through
After
now.
3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Earl Newton, and Graydon Edwards.
Top 3 drivers all on a 22-lap pace. 4 through 7 also all on a 21-lap pace. It is very much anyone's race. This is not over yet. Vince making up some time here. He has caught up to that back grid. So 5, 6, and 7 all down the straightaway. You got the leader coming through. So looks like Dan's
1
going to be
minute
up
left.
on
After 4
Terry
minutes 2
next.
seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Earl Newton, and
Makes it
Graydon
clean
Edwards.
through there. That's going to put Darren in a bit of a tight spot. He's got some room right now, but he's got... There we go.
45 seconds
No
left.
upset there on the track. A little bit of an upset there at Karen. Caution to Karen, caution to Karen. That's clear. Thirty seconds on the
left.
clock.
After 4 minutes
Guys,
32
we get about
seconds,
one,
the top
maybe two
drivers
more
are
laps
Dan
in here.
Jefferson, Earl Newton, and Graydon Edwards. "15 seconds left.
Five seconds.
Graydon Edwards done. Dan Jefferson done. Darren Smith done. Terry Brown done. Earl Newton done. Vince Lim done.
Earl putting some
All
laps
drivers are
together this
finished.
evening.
Travis Witt Kayski done. The race is completed.
Earl, what got into you? Where has this been? Yeah. All right, we'll take about 5 or 10 minutes, however long you guys need, and then we will go into round 2. Travis, way to hold him on those. You had him for the first, like, All right, it's going to be Todd, Emily, and Willie for this first round. Let's get marshals out to the track. B-Main of Wheeler is up first. I worked really hard to set the second heat of B-Mains up, so it took me a whole extra 3 minutes.
Emily Weldon.
What's up? A-Main of Stock Buggy is marshaling.
Willie Madden.
I need Todd across the line here. Todd across the line.
Todd Murray.
Okay, it's going to go Todd, Emily, and Willie. Drivers ready. I need a marshal at the other end of the driver's stand, please. One more marshal, one more marshal. Other end of the driver's stand? Someone? Anyone? Matt's got it? All right, thank you, Matt. Matt, absolute legend back there. Man of the people. All right, drivers ready, marshals ready, on the tone. Here we go. All right, Todd out there with an early lead off the start. Just got to hold on to that for 5 minutes. That's very easy. Everyone can attest to that. All right, Willie, now you just got to hold on to it for 5 minutes. It's getting super easy.
After 30 seconds,
not a challenge
the
at
top
all.
drivers are Todd Murray, Willie Madden, and Emily Weldon.
Deep breaths, blink and breathe, blink and breathe. It's not over, it's not over.
After 1 minute, 4 minutes left, the top drivers are Willie Madden, Emily Weldon, and Todd Murray. After 1 minute 30 seconds, the top drivers are Willie Madden, Emily Weldon, and Todd Murray. Three minutes After left. 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Willie Madden, Emily Weldon, and Todd Murray.
2:50 on the clock. Willie leads around, Emily in the 2, Todd in the 3.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds,
All right,
the top drivers are
2:25 on
Willie
the
Madden,
clock.
Emily Weldon, and Todd Murray. 2 minutes left. After 3 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Willie Madden, Emily Weldon, and Todd Murray. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Willie Madden, Emily Weldon, and Todd Murray.
I'm assuming. I know we're going to be open. I just don't know what the program is. I don't know what the hours are, and I don't know what the event. If we're racing, if it's practice or what.
1 minute left.
Okay.
After 4 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Willie Madden, Emily Weldon, and Todd Murray.
"45 seconds on the
45
clock."
seconds left.
Are you doing Dialed with Dan this week? Dan?
30
He doesn't
seconds
know?
left.
Okay.
After 4 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Willie Madden, Emily Weldon, and Todd Murray.
20 seconds.
15 seconds
Now's the
left.
time for some pressure. There we go. There we go. Inside, outside, inside, outside, and a little bit too much pressure there. They'll get one more lap, though.
All drivers are finished.
There we go.
Willie Madden done. Emily Weldon done. The race is completed.
I did. In two-wheel? I thought I did. Did I? I bumped him in four-wheeled. I don't know if I bumped him in. Yeah, if he is, I'll just. I don't care. I'll throw it up.
Dan Jefferson.
All right, let's go ahead and get drivers checked in. Gonna need some volunteer marshals for this one, I think.
Vince Lim.
Again, if you're in that last race, please come out to the track to marshal. What up, Rob?
Darren Smith.
Oh yeah, it's been fabulous.
Earl Newton.
That's my guess. I don't know if we're racing Friday or not yet, but I can't imagine it makes sense to do that because I doubt anyone can pull up. Yeah.
Ryan
All right.
Johnson.
Order is gonna go Dan, Darren, Vince, Earl, and Ryan. Yeah. The oval was the same 9 guys again. They're like, we're gonna do a cash prize and all this stuff, and then the same 9 guys showed up. 9 or 10 guys. Yeah. They just weren't inviting. Like they weren't like coming up and talking to hey, you know, they were just. All right, drivers ready, marshals ready. I know, yeah. All right. Drivers ready, marshals ready. On tone, less than 5. Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, but I think the group that's doing it, no one liked them ever. So they didn't come and be like, hey, you want to check this out? You want to try it? They came in Caution Karen, caution Karen, caution Karen.
After 30 seconds,
Clear.
the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Darren Smith, and Vince Lim.
So I don't know. The racing itself was fun, but then they're like, it's a stock class. I was like, great. And then I come out there and they all have different tires on. They had all this other stuff. I'm like, I was like 5 laps down. I'm like, there wasn't even they all sauced their tires. It wasn't even a race. So I was like, so why am I even out here? And he's not like they came up and like, hey, you should.
4 minutes left. The top drivers are Darren Smith, Vince Lim, and Dan Jefferson.
And there's 3 of us on the grid. You know, it wasn't like there was 10 plus entries for it. It's like, no, there was, I think, 4 of us for the sprint car and like 7 for late model, and that was the entire race program. So like 10 total drivers. So like,
After 1 minute 30
caution
seconds,
straightaway, caution
the top
straightaway.
drivers are Vince Lim,
Clear.
Dan Jefferson, and Darren Smith. After 2 minutes left, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Dan Jefferson, and Darren Smith. After 2 minutes 30 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, and Darren Smith. After 3 minutes, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Vince Lim, and Ryan Johnson.
It was not like, hey, check this out. Eventually got to do that after I was there for like 2 years. It became a really inviting community. But then I got to this, and it was like, I came in and Kevin threw a car at me. And I was like, you're driving. And like, just everyone was like, I broke my car in, what's his name? Clark. You know Clark Bennett? Yeah. I got out on the straight, I pulled the trigger, and my car didn't go anywhere. And he runs out and grabs my car.
After 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Dan Jefferson, and Ryan Johnson.
It was stuff like that I was like, wow, this is a really cool group of people that I want to hang out with. Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I try to push really hard when new people come in. Like I had a guy in here today, and he was like checking out the cars. He wasn't sure what he wanted. He had like a Traxxas car, you know. And he's like looked at
1 minute left. After 4 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Dan Jefferson, and Ryan Johnson.
He's like, oh, this is so cool. He's like, I'll be back in to check this out. And like, I had a guy come in last week, or 2 weeks ago. He had no idea what he was looking at.
45 seconds left.
Really funny. He seemed genuinely like wanting to do it, and so I threw him out of my buggy. There was no one else on the track, and I actually stayed open late just to let him go run around on the track for a little bit. No one else was out here. I was like, hey, if you want some time,
30 seconds left. After 4 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Vince Lim, Dan Jefferson, and Ryan Johnson.
And that's what I love about this. And they just were not doing that at all.
15 seconds left.
And like it got smaller and smaller, and they only did it 3 times, and they killed it right off the bat.
Ryan Johnson done. Earl Newton done. Vince Lim done. Darren Smith done. All drivers are finished. Dan Jefferson done.
What could we do to expand the space and make it bigger? But it's like we just really don't have it. Because we were like, okay, well, This is the, and that's what we are
The
talking
race
about.
is completed.
Like the TC8's coming up, right? And so we're like, okay, the TC8's kind of, is that going to bring back armor? Do we do something over here? And then we're like,
back in the on-road
yeah.
game?
And so we're like, is that going to, people are going to get the cars or?
Crazy, dude. That's such a weird time.
I think they just announced it this week.
Tariffs? Oh, shit.
So, Associated, I've talked to Kevin, who's talked to the Reading Associated. The
Josh Cody,
manufacturing for the electronics,
Todd
the
Murray,
RCR cars, all that stuff is in China. The kits are in Taiwan. So the imports are not as bad on Taiwan, so we can still get kits. Electronics are what we're fucking with.
Matt Rigsby,
But we just got a bunch of T-Powers and we got some... I know, I was kind of surprised.
Seen the car?
I have. It looks decent. It's supposed to be new geometry. It's supposed to be like this...
They've got the ultra low. I mean, like
I haven't looked back close at it, and I don't really know what I'm looking at for on-road because I've never done it. But
Ryan
I've seen
Johnson,
their X-ray. The X-ray is, yeah. All right, we need
Emily Weldon,
and Chris to check in here.
Chris Morrison,
Yeah, I'm optimistic about it. I thought about having Kevin order me one just to put together, just to kind of see what it's about. But I also, there's nowhere to race it, so I don't really want to invest the money in a car that I can't drive anywhere. So, all right, order's gonna go Ryan, Josh, Emily, Todd, Matt, and Chris. Yeah, if like. Yeah, but they're done with on-road too. They did oval, and now they're yeah. All right, order is Ryan, Josh, Emily, Todd, Matt, and Chris. Drivers ready, marshals ready, on the tone. Here we go. Right on. I was hoping Kevin would stop by. I knew he probably wouldn't because he's flying. He just got in. Yeah. Yeah. Anniversary, yeah. He must have been bored though because he was texting me the whole time. I was giving him crap. I texted Carly too. I was like,
I didn't realize he'd already left, and I got a text back to him, and I nearly said the same thing.
yeah.
After 30 seconds,
I know, I've been
the
giving
top
crap to
drivers are
everybody.
Josh Cody, Ryan Johnson, and Chris Morrison.
He texted me. He's like, "What car do I get? What wheel? Like, what bead locks and tires do I get?" And I basically was like, "Here's which one I want." So that way, when he builds it and he drives it once, then I can have it. He picked the color, but you know.
I'm sure he was fine with it if you were honest with him about that.
Yeah, he knows my he knows me well enough to know exactly what I'm doing because I told him.
Third time he's gone down the crawler.
After
4
1
minutes
minute left, the top drivers are Josh Cody,
He's like,
Ryan
"What's the
Johnson,
rock
and
crawling?"
Emily
I've got
Weldon.
two crawlers, both mine are broken right now, and so I'm trying to fix them.
You go out to where
Caution, Karen! Caution, Karen! Clear. There's a park across the street from here that I go to that when it rains they have a stream. So I've been going there, but I think some old guy was there when we were there, and I think he reported us because my buddy went the other day and he said that they were started vandalizing or disturbing the property.
After 1 minute
It's a public
31
park.
seconds, the
And
top
already
drivers are
parked
Ryan
there,
Johnson,
but,
Josh Cody, and Chris Morrison.
Apparently they started fencing off a lot of the areas we were rock crawling on and stuff. Yeah, there was some old grumpy dude on the phone the whole time watching us over there one of the days, and then we didn't go for a couple weeks, and then they had fences up and stuff. I guess I haven't been over since then, but
unless it's like is it like a natural boundary area?
I don't know. Because we had
3
gone
minutes
years
after
ago,
2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson,
it's like a
Josh
natural
Cody,
runoff
and Chris
area.
Morrison.
No, we're not doing anything that's like. I mean, if it was like Basher guys and you're doing 60 miles an hour through there, making huge puddles and getting debris everywhere, but we're doing 2 miles an hour, just kind of slow crawling over stuff, and we're not.
That would be the legitimate
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah, but no, it's like me and my buddy's like in his 40s or 50s.
After
you
2
know?
minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Josh Cody, and Chris Morrison.
So, I don't know. But it was kind of funny though. Kevin's like, I was like, you do you, but I'll drive it when you're done with it. What up? 2:10 on the clock. Ryan leading us around. Josh in the 2, Chris in 3, Emily in the 4, Todd in the 5, Matt in the 6.
2 minutes left. After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Josh Cody, and Chris Morrison. After 3 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Josh Cody, and Chris Morrison.
All right, 1:20 on the clock. Ryan leads this round. Josh in the 2, Chris in 3, Emily in 4, Todd in the 5, Matt in the 6. 1:15 on the clock. Ryan and Josh battle to watch. They are separated by a little over a straightaway length now.
1 minute left. After 4 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Josh Cody, and Chris Morrison. "45 seconds left.
"30 seconds.
30 seconds left. After 4 minutes 32 seconds, the top drivers are Ryan Johnson, Josh Cody, and Chris Morrison. "15 seconds left.
10 seconds on the clock.
Chris Morrison done. Ryan Johnson done. Todd Murray done.
Caution straightaway, caution straightaway.
Emily Weldon done.
Track is still live, track is still live. Waiting on Josh and Matt to go across
Josh
the line.
Cody done. The race is completed.
It doesn't. It's about 2 seconds slow.
Graydon Edwards. Travis Witkowski. Earl Newton.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, take care.
Dan Jefferson. Terry Brown. Darren Smith. Vince
I
Lim.
got checks on everyone. Straightaway is closed. Straightaway is closed. I need one more marshal up by me. One more marshal up by me. Thank you, Ryan. All right, order's going to go Earl, Travis, Graydon, Dan, Darren, Terry, Vince. All right, driver's ready. Marshal's ready. On the tone.
After 30 seconds, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Travis Witkowski, and Graydon Edwards.
All right, 4:20 on the clock. Earl out in the 1, Graydon in the 2, Dan in 3, Terry in 4, Vince the 5, Travis in 6, Darren in 7. Everyone's got someone to race with right now. 4:10 on the clock. Gap between 1 and 2.7 seconds, between 2 and 3.2 seconds. That is the battle to watch. That is Earl, Graydon, and Dan.
After 1 minute, 4 minutes left. The top drivers are Earl Newton,
Graydon giving
Edwards, and
Earl a
Dan
little bit of
Jefferson.
space here to work with. He's got to keep putting the pressure down. Dan getting a little jumpy, looking inside. Caution sweeper, caution sweeper. Inside sweeper, inside sweeper, inside, inside, inside. Caution at Karen. Caution at Karen. Didn't see what happened there. Looks like that's going to put Dan
After
out
1
in
minute
that 2
30
spot. Looks like
seconds,
Graydon was
the
one
top
tangled up in
drivers
there.
are Earl Newton, Dan Jefferson, and Graydon Edwards.
Earl's got the magic touch tonight. He has been hanging on for 2 minutes here. He's still got the pace.
3 minutes After left. 2 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Dan Jefferson, and Graydon Edwards.
So Earl leading us around. Dan in the 2. Caution at Chad. Caution at Chad. That is clear. Didn't see what happened there.
After 2 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Dan Jefferson, and Travis Witkowski.
Bit of an upset from last time around. Everyone falling back a little bit from where they were previously. Dan looking for that inside down the straightaway. Not going to hold on to it.
After 3 minutes 1 second, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Dan Jefferson, and Travis Witkowski.
Earl making that track really, really small for Dan. Both go together. That's going to be... Going to put Travis, it looks like, up into that 2 spot. Travis and Earl take each other out, so that's going to put Dan out on the 1. Not sure how that's going to affect. We'll see next time by.
After 3 minutes 31 seconds, the top drivers are Earl Newton, Travis Witkowski, and Dan Jefferson.
All right, so Dan out in the 1, Travis in the 2, Terry in the 3, Graydon in the 4, Earl in the 5, Vince in the 6, Darren in the 7.
One minute left. After 4 minutes 2 seconds, the top drivers are Dan Jefferson, Travis Witkowski, and Terry Brown.
50 seconds on the clock.
45 seconds left.
$30 seconds.
30 seconds left. After 4 minutes,
Wheel to wheel
32
between
seconds,
Terry
the
and
top drivers are Dan
Travis.
Jefferson, Travis
A
Witkowski,
little
and
bit
Terry
aggressive
Brown.
there out of the yellow car.
$15 seconds left.
Travis goes inside on that with 5 seconds left on the clock. He's going to put Graydon up at position 2.
Travis Witkowski done. Graydon Edwards done.
So Graydon will finish in
Terry
that 3
Brown
spot.
Darren Smith done. Dan Jefferson done.
Earl and Vince almost a race to the
Vince Lim
finish.
done.
Race to the sweeper section, I should say.
All drivers are finished.
That's a race. Thank you all for coming
Earl
out
Newton
tonight.
done. The race is completed.